Deronius Subdeviant, thank you. Yeah, I'll be on for a few. Let me just talk about the castle and talk about how and why it was built and other stuff about the Atar Plateau. I mean, this igneous stone. Okay, now you know where I am. I'm in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. Let's go back over to. I'm having a drink. It's the middle of the night. It's almost. It's 11:30 p.m. Sunday night. It's March 6th. I'm in an undisclosed location. I'm not in Africa. I was here a couple weeks ago, wasn't I? Now, I am planning on going back very, very soon. Perhaps in a couple of week, 1 month. I don't know. And when I do, the plan is to get over here to this corner. It's going to take 3 days. But if you look at the whole Atar Plateau, and not just that, but down here even in Atar, this is not the same plateau. This is the what I call the Atar Plateau. That's when you enter this lower plateau. But then after you drive up to Atar and then over, you end up using a little hairpin turn road to get up to what I consider the true top of this plateau and drive it across it right there. That's it. That's the top. That's the uppermost part. Let's zoom in a little bit. Everybody knows I went to Audain. I should have stopped by here if I could do everything. I should have gone along this side. I'm very interested in many things here. I've got a new map that shows a lot of stuff down here to be found. So there's lots and lots of things. And if you know, I recently also went to what I call the Parallel Canals, one here and one here. I visited this spot here and I got it on video in a previous video. I'm not going to talk about that today, but what I do want to say is that video you just saw was here. I was here. It's right there. The camels, if I recall correctly, I could track it. It's right before we entered this last island. And let's see, I remember coming down here and then we passed this. I mean, it seemed so far away when I saw that from a distance. It was so flat, and you can see it in the video. I must have been like here because it was so far away. It was just at such a distance. I was on the mountain when I first saw it, I guess, way up here, and it really seemed far and a lot smaller looking. Like this is big. It's a big chunk of it. Now, everybody knows that I think that this was a comet strike. I believe this was a crater. I didn't get to take enough time with that, but on the next trip, I am going to be stopping by there and spending some time, especially on this, what I call the craterial ridge. Um, let's just talk about the castle, though. That was the plan. I do want to make sure that I'm on. I guess you're still getting your coffee, and you're my only viewer. I guess I'll like my own video. Thank you for that. Now, as you can see by this clip, we can continue. I'll get a little closer. Was it created? Oh no, this video. I'm sorry, I got the wrong video. I guess it's here. Let's get a little closer. Let me turn this down. I don't want to hear myself talking, especially so loud. Especially so loud. So as we approach the castle, you don't even notice any uniformity or straightness at all. Okay, now let's get in there, and that's the reason why I opened Google Earth, is to take a look at it from space. But these circles here now are clear that they're part of a fortress. If you want to know why this was created, I'm going to tell you, I believe it was created as a foreign legion style. So probably only 500 years old, maybe even 300, maybe 200 years old. I doubt 200. When did France stop having military foreign legion exercises? Now, these fortresses weren't probably for training. That's why they're so random. This whole area is made of these rocks, okay? Now, let's talk about that for a second. Let's get back to Google Earth to do that. Okay, I'm gonna. Well, the camels are so cool, and I can talk about that. So, um, first we'll finish talking about the Atar Plateau because I think what is misunderstood, and when you saw those rocks, you can let's go back again. Not those rocks, yes. These rocks, yes. See, we're driving in the center of the actual plateau. So, why is there so many rocks? Well, that's because it was built from the Atar Plateau, which is also lots of rocks. Whatever happened here broke up the big rocks because these rocks are big, and then they made them small. The rocks here are very small, but there's still enough to carry around and do stuff with. When you see a burial, somebody getting buried, and I went to one here, I believe it's a type of a tumulus, and the reason why it's because they can't dig down. It's next to impossible to dig down. You're not going to be able to dig a hole in this ground. This is so hard. Yeah, maybe here. Okay, maybe. There's going to be some changes over variation, but look at this one. Look at that. There's basically a couple of mounds and eyes, and in my opinion, these things were created, from my understanding, older than Muslim, and they were probably, I believe, Occam's razor says it's for burial purposes. However, the ones in Morocco are quite incredible. I don't believe they're just burial purposes up there. So I have variations in my belief. Let's see. But it's so hard to dig down because this igneous rock. I mean, again, when I drove, yeah, there's sand where the river carried it, but underneath it's hard rock. This is hard igneous. I guess you can say lava, but it's not like the Hawaiian lava rock. I was ringing it. You can't ring lava rock. I didn't really ring it, but you could hear a note coming from it. So yes, it was a ring. Not a great ring. It wasn't like it was a bell, but it was a note. Okay, I'm gotta get out of here. I want to see if I have any comments. I don't. I do have a third like though. That's a good sign. Let me continue what I'm trying to say. I at this time and believe that this was created by, and I'm talking about the eye, by a massive Carrington event of some type. When you look at this, you see these rings. I mean, there is some uh, problems here, but that's because it was hit by a comet. But these rings matching, I'm sorry, I was like a formula, like a vibration, and that vibration holds a certain frequency, and that frequency has been transmitted here. And I think there's a big mystery to it, but it changed the rock. It's hard as hell. It's not like it's a bunch of sand. It's very hard, and nothing's moving, and it's been vitrified in its own way. And what the creation was is still a big question. And whether or not it was the concentric circles that Plato wrote about is also a big question. I just kind of think if it had been anything like that, that there would have been a big, huge top structure of soil. I don't know if anybody would really want to live here. I don't believe that there was a lot of plants here during the green age of the Sahara Desert. There's so much hard. I don't know. I really don't know what to say. I'm not a geologist, but I can tell you that this stone is impenetrable. And that's why people build mounds because they can't dig. The Atar Plateau was when I climbed up to the top from the bottom here near this point. The stone was so we could. I don't. Unfortunately, there's no. Yeah, there's no 3D. We have to go to my videos to see it. I have to find that. I don't want to interrupt this video. So let's stop talking about the Atar Plateau and just go straight to the castle now. I'm still not finished talking about it. I have that other video. The thing I wanted to show you is as I climbed from that to here, it's literally 1,000 feet, and you're seeing the side of the mountain, which is pure slate, big huge blocks, not sand, not dirt, no trees. It's one massive stone. And if the Great Pyramid was ever um, a harvester or a producer or a transmitter of energy due to its mass, then this is definitely. Um, oh, let's see here. Which city? Let me finish my statement. So I believe that this Atar Plateau is like 1,000,000 pyramids in terms of energy potential. Now, part two is the castle. And I did want to talk about, I already mentioned a little bit about why. Let me repeat it. Okay, so here you can see from the sky, it's actually impressive because of the straightness. But what you have is a lack of any geometrical symmetry here. So my theory now, and we have these 3 points because the south was what they were facing in their exercises, their military exercises. These soldiers, these foreign legionnaires, were hiking around here doing all sorts of exercises, and that's what they would do. They would create something like this, and they would hike to the next one, and they would man their posts in these circles, and they would probably have guns and point them out into the desert. But let's just talk about the straightness. So the guy in charge stood here and he put a post in the ground, and now that had a string going that direction and this direction. He was at the north end, that's true, but it wasn't a solid north south axis. That's a problem, right? But as you can see, it is the northernmost point, it is the southernmost point. This is the easternmost point, and that's the westernmost point. However, it's just not a perfect square. So what he did was, or she, probably he, took a string and he lined it from here to here, there to there. Now these circles were created later, so these straight lines were laid out by that commander, and they lined the rocks up along that string, and that is how it became so straight. Now later on, other structures they created these corners because they wanted to have. I mean, when you look at this, and you'll see it right now in the video. Okay, that's it. Now I can go back a little bit and play it for you so you can see it. Turn me off. I don't want to hear myself. So there's one thing. So as you can see, oh, I'm too high. All right, let me go back because I want to see if I can catch that again. Okay, so it's here. You can see the little pathway, and it's very clear from space, but from the ground, it's barely eligible. Negligible. Negligible. Is that the word I'm looking for? The circles are quite strong, and the sand here, I assume blue there, but you would think that the sand was also put there for comfort. Nobody wants to lay on these rocks, and if you get down here, there's rocks everywhere. They're not comfortable. The sand had to have been piled up for comfort. You wouldn't be able to survive on top of those rocks down there. It would just be too harsh. So we can almost see the straight line. Let me just fast forward this and see if we can get to the straight line. You can kind of see it there. It's not very straight looking. There we're looking from the inside, and of course the inside is just a mess. And by the way, the inside was never a place to keep animals or to to keep anybody like farming or anything. You can tell that the ground was just like the ground on the outside. It was just basically put there as a training exercise, I believe. And this stuff wasn't necessarily touched at all. I think that the structures in the middle were kind of a command post for the main person to watch the others. And so there's your how, there's your why. Okay, that's what I wanted to show you. Let me go back and play it until it lines up. So there you see that this is about 1.5 to 2 feet wide. I think that there were people at other posts in the middle here, maybe, but the corners were the essential posts, right? And you can see that, but it had to have been like we're going straight this direction until we get to our eastern point, our western point, and then the circles in the corners were created differently. The same goes for the temple. The same goes for the other structures. I'll show you the temple right now, but um, they had to probably hike or walk or march due east, and then that's where they started to set up their little temple. It's pretty much the same thing without the straight lines. All right, question time. Well, I'll tell you something erroneous. The thing that is for me, especially when we get to, yeah, maybe the Atar Plateau, there must have been a really thick layer, right? We know that it all went to South America, Brazil. We know it blew there, but it must have been a really thick layer that washed away, and there must have been a super thick layer that, if it were the concentric circles that contained the defense, the so-called golden wall. Maybe it's all a myth. So I'm trying to figure out what you mean when you say, I noticed in the city you were at the houses were often, we've got doors, we've got buildings. You mean when I was driving across the desert? Cyber wars in Europe. By the way, should I do any updates or not? Because I've been given all these updates to do, and it's kind of freaking me out. Like, what is it? What's it all about? Can you give me a summary? Because I haven't been online for like 4 hours, and I shouldn't be watching this to get my news anyways. Here, let me go here instead. Yeah, there's no mention of cyber wars in the news. Okay, Anonymous has hacked Russian streaming services to broadcast footage of the war. Yeah, good. Where? I want to see it. We will find every bastard. Well, yeah, so I didn't know about the cyber stuff. Savage lag. Oh, I see. I see. I'm sorry. I thought you were doing some type of a. Never mind. Yeah, lag. Well, I'm on 5G. And what was I going to say? There was something else I was going to say. Okay, so I think I talked about everything. So basically, to summarize my main point, the castle, and there are more than one, right? They're now kind of being labeled. The other one's over here somewhere. I don't know. It's hard to find really fast. I'll never find it. So it's called Fortress Number Two now. Fortress Number Two. It's right around here. I think it's like right. Yeah, it's so hard to find for me. I never look for it. I'll try to visit it if I focus on this and the other one. The other thing is, I do want to go visit this now. I'm having to learn how to see it. Come out here and swipe up like the Nike swoosh right there. It's right here. No? Yes? Oh, I missed it a little bit. There it is. Yeah, I want to visit this thing. There's some other stuff going on over here, right? I don't know what that is. Is that a road? That's like a dam. And that's what I believe these things are. But it's there. It's kind of peeking out. And there's a lot of other stuff here that we want to see. But the fact is that this matches the same width as my parallel canals. It is a little bit different, but maybe um, when we get up to it, it's a bunch of broken stone, just like the parallel canals. I think, in my opinion, that'll be pretty much evidence that it's in that era. But it's kind of hard to see it right there. You know, I don't know what to think. I don't know what to expect. I really do want to see that up close, and we'll talk about that later. I don't want to jinx anything. So that's definitely next. And there's a lot of petroglyphs around here. Pardon me. In addition to the petroglyphs, there's some other things that the guide was going to show us. And there's also another picture called the Roman Road. Let me go to the Reddit right now because I can find the pictures I'm talking about in my profile. So you can now see that I have a Reddit, and the pictures that I posted came from the guide, or indirectly from the guide. They were trying to get me to pay him a lot of money to go see these things, and I didn't really want to do that. These are talking about other videos. Okay, so this was found here. Let me show you this. This was found in that area. Okay, I thought I could make them big. Let me see if I can make this big by clicking on it. No? All right. Never mind. I'm not so excited about those, but what it does prove is that this was underwater. Okay? That was underwater. Now, that's what the geologists are telling me. So I've always told you that this area was a shoreline, and it was most likely this was all underwater. This was a lake. For at one point in time, it was definitely full of water. Probably water that was sending water from the Tamanrasset River into the concentric circles and down this canal. This canal is very straight. Too straight. I'm going to visit this. I'm going to drive through here. There's a road going right through there. So, why is this hard rock? And we know it's hard rock. We know that it's slate. It's very, very igneous. I mean, why is it so different? I mean, maybe this is exactly the same on both sides. We'll find out. But what I can tell you now, and where is my point? Okay, let's just 100 meters. It's like a 50 meters wide. It's pretty wide. So, anyways, yeah, that's that. And what's it going to show you next? There's one more thing. Oh yeah, this other thing that I want to visit is this. Let's go. Come on, open it up. This is a very interesting straight line. I'd like to see this for myself. It's probably nothing, honestly. I know that I might have turned it into clickbait, but we're calling this the Roman Road right now because it looks like a Roman road, but this is a little bit too convenient. I'd like to see that up close and see. I personally, I've been looking at this for a long time. I don't think it's going to be much, but we'll see. Apparently, that's about here. Apparently, that goes up into here, and you come into here somewhere. Now, if I could believe that this structure had any sense to it, I'd love to believe that. We'll see about that. Well, Duronius, it looks like you're my only viewer, only one watching now. I should here's what I'm going to do, just for fun. I got 3 likes. I thought I saw 4 just now. Did someone dislike it? Yeah, there's a lot of other stuff here that we want to see. Duronius, I have to be honest, I haven't checked it too much, but I haven't noticed much. I haven't noticed any problems. I mean, I'm going to have to keep this quiet. It's already midnight, and I have neighbors at this time. I'm just trying to think if there's something else I wanted to mention. So yeah, I am gonna go back very soon. Others are welcome. Deronius, you're welcome. You want to come? There's a flight that goes directly to Atar. I'm gonna go here first because this is the closest you can get and still have things like, uh, well, I mean, there's gas stations that are